What if I tell you that I actually want to have a deep conversation on this show? What if I tell you I want to understand the difference between the North and the South in India and how the stereotypes divide us or unite us? What if I want to find out how is the total fertility rate shaping up the demography of India in the future and how that will impact how India will progress or deaccelerate in the future? What if I want to touch upon the controversy of the 3-language policy situation? And what if I had the best content creator from South India? A content creator who's famous for making videos every day, who has over 8 million followers and who has spoken endlessly about socio-political issues around the world on the show to have a meaningful, real conversation about issues that plague the polity of India. I had so much fun talking to Madan. Madan, such a player when it comes to having the conversation flow go on. This is my conversation with the articulate and scholarly Madan Gowri. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Bro, you've been doing this everyday video, whether that's social, political commentary, for how long now? 4-5 years?
6 years.
6 years every day.
6 years, yeah.
Wow, you practically live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a stupid question. If you've done, what is 365 into 6? Like over 2,000 videos at this point, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I gave you 3 things you could fix with second, third order consequences, it's not like I just erase this. Like there is a consequence to erasing something, right? Like there is, what would be 3 things you do so that India is on a different track?
I think the predominant thing that I would probably put across Indians is that, when it comes to India, do not have divisions when you have the idea of India, especially when you express it globally. I have had bad experiences about it also, because when you represent your country, the beauty about our country is we are very, very different. You and me, we are from the same country and we speak different languages. We are probably from...
We could have been as well from 2 different countries if this was not India.
Exactly.
Right? Like we could be European and you'd be Eastern European, I'd be Western European, and we just, right.
I could be an African, you could be an European, and still the same differences would exist.
Right, exactly.
So that different we are. But we are in the same country. This diversity and still the unity. So when it comes to India, we both are...
I'd fight for you. I'd fight for you, bro.
Same.
Right.
So that, I think, should be embedded in Indians more than what it is now. I felt super bad when Qureshi ma'am got...
Sophia Qureshi.
Yeah.
The one doing press conferences during Operation Sindoor.
When she gets
targeted for being Muslim.
No, what she was called was sister of a terrorist.
Yeah, right.
I mean, what the fuck? It's something that's absolutely... And people who are saying this will never even... They would have never visited the border. I mean, that's the biggest problem. Yeah. And these people... calling names on the heroes of our country who are putting us globally, it's shameful, man. And same thing applies to the foreign minister too, Mystery, sir. So he was also called as a traitor because he announced the ceasefire. He announced the ceasefire.
Oh, yes.
Vikram Misri, sir.
Vikram Misri, yes.
So he was called a traitor. Right. I mean, you imagine this, they prepare for the toughest exam in the world, crack it, dedicate their life for the country for decades, and then they tell something that people in much higher power decide, and they tell it to the world.
That's the communicator of it.
Yeah, they're the communicator, and they get called a traitor. Seriously?
You dox Vikram Misri's daughter. You start posting pictures of her online.
Did they do anything illegal? No, they did something different from what you believe in. That's all.
Right.
So when this happens, right, this idea of India, when we celebrate our diversity, I believe I can go back in time, in 1947 preferably, and fix in everyone's mind, bro, I understand we are very different. We love the diversity. We celebrate our country's culture. I see people in North India wish me for Pongal. I'm going to wish people in North India and across the country for Holi. Even though it's not a native festival for me. Pongal is not a native festival. We celebrate this diversity. If we are
energized by it.
Yeah,
I agree. 100%.
So if I can go back in time and fix in everyone's mind, bro, yes, this diversity exists, but when it comes to India, you're one. And put that face outside. Don't find divisions when it comes to India is something that I would love to go back in time and fix. And I think that would accelerate the whole country to a different level that we will not have any country to compare today in 2025 if we had did that in 1947.
I mean, I see the general point you're trying to make about unity, and I kind of agree. But this specific point you made about Operation Sindoor and how sort of the conversation around it happened, is of much interest to me. And allow me to sort of make a few points. Tell me what you think. First of all, this war-hungry mob, after it had nowhere to go, and it felt like it had received an anti-climax. Because if you were honest enough and you asked around, hey, what do you think of the ceasefire? People were like, bro, garam karke chhod diya. Like, you know. And so there was a lot of this garam karke chhod diya crowd that was looking to attack somebody. And to attack a man who's facing the brunt of the world coming on media every day and attack him through his daughter, completely unacceptable. The fact that Sofia Qureshi was chosen by whoever chose her to represent us
She
in
was
the
a minister.
Yes, I think
which is even
either
more.
the defense minister or the EAM, right? One of them chose.
No, it's a state minister from Madhya Pradesh, if I can recall correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to attack her for a religion, and not just attack her, but to link her to the people who did the heinous act that started all of this, that brought us to the brink of some degree of nuclear war.
Yeah.
To relate her, who's putting her face and her identity and her life on the line every day. And, you know, it's not just that. I have an observation I'm a little concerned about making. My observation is that we probably did a lot of kinetic damage, way more than the world media will report. But we really were on the back foot on the narrative end. And you and I were part of the narrative end. You were saying this in your language to your audience. I was saying this in English or Hindi to my audience, right? I think the big ones in our field betrayed us. The media is the reason, the mainstream media is the reason that we all lost the narrative battle. Because if on 8th May or 9th May overnight, you are going to get on our screens and scream, oh, we did this. Oh my God, we're...
Karachi was in ashes.
You are more ridiculous than Pakistani media. Do you understand the reputation you've lost? You are more ridiculous than a media that's probably state controlled and state run. A bunch of jokers who do entertainment for media. You're worse than them because you went into rumor mongering. And you know what? I was on Twitter the same day watching Indian news. Things would crack on Twitter. Somebody would just post randomly, we are in Karachi. And 3 seconds later, the news anchors would pick it up and start screaming. So your source that day was a bunch of anonymous accounts on Twitter. And you think it is just TRP maxing. No, you are diluting the country's credibility for TRP maxing that day. You chose to dilute my nation's global credibility for TRP maxing, for advertiser money that day. And you are the people who will then come on later when an Elvish Yadav will make a mistake, or a Samay Raina will make a mistake, or a Ranveer Alabadia will make a mistake. You will come on screen, be like, these boys just want views, and they will say anything for views. And you are any different? You sold the honor of my country for views. You are telling me we are at fault? Us 20-year-olds who are trying to build our bones, who are trying to understand how to represent this country globally, you are telling me we are at fault? Oh my God. You know, this comedian had a tweet. I don't know how much trouble I'm going to get into for saying it. But she said, if comics can be tried for jokes, can newsmen not be tried for the same vulgarity of jokes that they perform? Bro, I got N number of phone calls that day. I don't know if you did. Girls largely freaking out. I am having an anxiety attack. Is everything going to be okay? You know why? Because these idiots were screaming on the screen. Is that not offensive to public morality? I'm asking you. I'm sorry. I've been full of this. I wanted to say it somewhere. I'm asking you. What do you think? You think that's fair?
Absolutely not fair, bro. But there's a larger game here that I think a lot of us miss. There is a reason why media is doing this. Because it's completely different from different point of view. But then think about why media is doing this today. This was not happening before 10 years. This was not happening before 20 years for sure. Right now, someone in media is competing with an influencer, to get the same news to people. So when we talk about us, an influencer is going to have a worst case scenario. We are going to, if you have to make an immediate content, we'll need 2 hours maximum, as in good quality. You shoot, you do a basic editing, proof check, upload. That's the timeline. A media channel is trying to beat this 2 hours timeline, and they're not supposed to actually, because we are not journalists. We are people who ethically try to live by. We get judged by people directly. We don't have any, as much as legislature or laws, the point I'm trying to make is rules, like a media channel. A media channel is licensed. They have a bunch of regulations to follow. They have studied journalism. So when they come from that point of view, they are not supposed to compete with influencers who are opinionated. We are going to put our opinion. We are not journalists.
Way. Yes, right.
We are editorial. And that's purely our opinion. We could go wrong. We could be right.
Yeah.
That's our opinion. And people are going to judge it. So end of the day, our judgment is absolutely from democracy, where people are going to say yes to us or no to us. It comes down to people. So that's a different story. The problem starts happening when media people try to compete with influencers, because this to us is the time within which they have to break something so that they get higher views than an influencer. It's all coming down to same YouTube views today. Same social media clutter today.
Right.
So when they do that, they don't have time to do enough proof checks.
But do they realize that the fact that no international independent agency, I'm not even speaking of media, will ever take them seriously is because of this rumor mongering circus bullshit?
Yeah, that's a bigger problem.
I heard a lot of this, okay? And maybe I'm wrong about this. A lot of people saying, we don't need the validation of white journalists, this, that. I'd be fine with it. I'm completely with you. But I can't ascertain anything using my local journalists because you've made a mockery. You've made a mockery of information. You've made a mockery of opinion. So I'm going to have to trust this third person, especially in a conflict like India-Pakistan, where if you ever by chance run this experiment of looking at what India is saying and Pakistan is saying, they're saying the same word except India says Pakistan did this, Pakistan says India. India says Pakistan violated ceasefire. Pakistan says India violated ceasefire. In that moment, I can't trust the guy who's going to tell me anything because obviously he's full of shit. Then who am I going to go to? You've put us in this position and you better own up to it. And you better have that moral fiber the next time you're calling out a little boy for trying to make his life work. That's my complaint.
I think globally this idea of having someone who's going to tell only what has happened is vanished.
Yeah, it's dead. You're right.
I think from US to our local cities to local newspaper, every newspaper has to survive.
Yeah.
Every media company has to survive. Every influencer has to survive. Everyone have to take a stand.
Right.
And the whole narrative is based on what we believe in.
Right.
Even look at US. Or look at a different country. For example, with Ukraine and Russia, right? Look at any Russian media, Russians are right. Look at any Ukrainian media, Ukrainians are right. And which is the one that will be told to the world? Whichever West wants to be told to the world.
Whichever America approves for it to be
the
told.
West, basically.
Yeah, right, sure.
So whichever they want. So when they decide this country has to be favored, they are going to put their narrative across the world.
That's hella smart.
Yeah, that has happened. So So before the podcast, I told you, right, bro, let's talk facts. This is how it is.
Right.
Let's face it. Like, why? It's not going to be fixed. Let's be realistic also, because everyone has to. So we have a president in the world's biggest country, most powerful country, who's saying, hey, let me, don't go to India because we need your company, Apple.
Yeah,
so
right.
We did all this so-and-so for you. Don't go from China to India, come back to US. But the logic is, bro, you can't manufacture iPhone in America and sell it to an Indian. But you're going to price it at 6 lakhs?
Right. No, he's putting pressure. That's what he's trying to do.
No, but the idea of a president talking this to media is already... So now he's pushing other leaders of the world also to get to that extreme to get into the limelight. If we have a leader who's very clear, who's very strong, and only talks to the point and does not get into all these, random talks, he is not going to be looked at. He's not going to be given enough time in the media as much as someone like Trump would be given. Think of this again across the world. Everywhere. You do bro, he tweeted himself as the Pope after Pope passed away.
Yeah. So he's a little bit of a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He's a little bit of a cartoon.
So now to beat him, the next American president, whoever is going to contest, will try to beat him through enough mockery.
Through more extreme. So he just pushes to more extreme.
More mockery. The
bar keeps shifting.
We are living in a very interesting time. The thing is, from Trump to even Zelensky, they were all influencers basically. If you go back in time, they were all influencers.
Dude, they were so spot on. Zelensky was a comedian. Trump used to be the main character on Apprentice, the TV show.
He was there everywhere. He was in WWF.
He was in WWE, dude. That's a crazy clip. Hey, because the TV is up, I can't play it, but you got to play it, dude. That scene is epic when Vince McMahon and him go at it. Yeah, I think Trump understands manufacturing media moments like nobody does. he has a very delicate sense for how to make something go viral.
Yeah.
And I think America as a whole has lost faith in career politicians. They don't want another Biden. They don't want another Barack. They just don't. They want this entertaining chap who's going to mess Washington up, who's going to clean the swamp or whatever he used to say. When you're making a video every day, how are you doing it in your head? Are you writing a script? Because your videos are not like 1 minute videos. You're doing like 10-minute videos.
Yeah.
Average.
Yeah.
Right? You're writing a 10-minute script every day?
No, bro.
You're just speaking your heart out.
Just speaking my heart out.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you get all the facts somewhere because you must have research, because you cannot speak of Operation Sindoor or any of that without research.
Yeah.
So you are writing all those facts out, sitting in front of the camera and just going at it.
So what happens is earlier when I started creating content, I used to by heart everything. And then my mind somehow structures the whole conversation and I just do a monologue. Today with technology, I have the advantage of having a Mac screen in front of me where I need all these important points. For example, if I'm going to talk about BrahMos, I want the name to never be misspelled or anything. I want it to be correct. So I have those names in front of me. But it's still a monologue. There is no cuts. I just talk. And whenever I have to tell a particular name or when there is something that I can't go wrong, I go back, look at it and then say it. So then this goes through a proof checking process also. I have a team, so they proof check. And whenever I make a mistake, we reshoot or we make sure we somehow fix it in the video.
Sure.
And then that goes out.
Wow. But every day must be super taxing, man.
It has become like brushing my teeth today.
Really?
So yeah, I have to do it. If I don't, so sometimes I did a show I was talking about, right? I did a show with a lot of celebrities in Tamil industry, film industry. So when that was going on every Sunday, the show was going to be played on the channel, and we shot it in like 1 month. So the content was there for 3-4 months. Those 3-4 months, every Sunday, I felt super bad. I felt super lazy. I felt I'm doing nothing with my life. I was very uncomfortable being at home and chilling. I think
I get it, dude.
Yeah.
So hard to take a break.
Some people are just wired to be weird. we can't chill. I mean, chilling is against our system. The way we find peace is to work, to hustle.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I relate to that completely.
I can 100% say any top dog in any industry will relate to this.
Yeah. Bro, I mean, tomorrow is Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start preparing as soon as you leave to relax tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try so hard, but soon it'll be Monday and I won't be rested.
And you won't be relaxing tomorrow. Somehow your mind, even if you feel you're going to be sitting in some hotel or you go home, you're doing you think you're relaxing, but back of your head, your mind will be calculating what to do tomorrow, exactly. What is the next thing, or how's this industry being, how's our country being, what's the future. So this brain does not relax. Your brain does not relax.
Right.
I know.
The cost of ambition is permanent psychological torture.
Yeah.
And if you can swallow that, if you can swallow the pain, the ups and the downs, the disappointments, the feelings of shit, this is never going to work. Oh my God, it worked for a second, it will not work. If you can swallow all of that, then ambition is worth it. Otherwise, you're just constantly tormented. I try and live in this city, which is not a metro, for this exact reason that my negative
Which city?
This city that we're in right now.
This is proper metro, bro. It looks like a metro.
Sure, but like it's not Mumbai,
It's not Delhi.
It's not Bangalore, it's not Delhi, right? It's a little bit outside, and so what it allows me is once I'm done with this, I can go home to my dog and my mom.
The roads are less crowded that I can see.
Precisely. Yeah. Or my 20-year-long friendships, and we can talk about absolute smack, but still going on, bro.
Yeah.
And I think this country needs a lot of ambitious people, bro. I mean, it's pretty obvious that we could do with some defense tech companies in this country, for instance, some mass manufacturing units that could manufacture everything from automobiles to tanks. Like I'm just saying, in every sense of the word, we need dreamers in this country. That's been my sense. I don't know if you think that way.
Bro, absolutely. I mean, you made a killer point about Indian defense. Bro, think of this. Chinese aircrafts flying over us, and China is like the mecca of production, manufacturing. Flights flying over us, and our indigenously developed defense system has the capacity to hold it, to shoot it down probably, we never know. But then their drones for sure, Turkish drones,
right?
Taken down by Indian defense system that is made in India. So this is possible. It's not like it's not like software should come from US. In fact, all the software is written by Indians in India and exported to US.
Right.
So we have people who can create global stuff. Gone are the days we think this has to come from China or US. No, it can be created in India. So it's a funny thing. I wanted to buy a car. I have a car, I want to replace it. So that's the thing.
Rich.
No, just want to replace the car. Bro, what? Car everyone has. You also have. What car you have?
No, I have no car, bro. I walk. I don't know if you saw.
I know.
Sometimes
No way I'm believing this guy.
I have a motorcycle. I just go like this.
So that's like cool influencer effect. But
Sometimes I have a horse also, bro, when I have to rent a horse.
And talking of cars as a luxury. Anyway.
I'm messing with you. Huh?
Yeah, I know. So, replacing a car, what are the options we have for a comfortable car? As in, a car that you want to level up to. I already have a particular car and I want to level up. So, when we want to level up, right, I have this tax thing going on. We still don't have proper tax effects of imported cars going down. So, when I look at a car, a premium car, it goes up to 120% of tax. I don't want to spend my money on 120% of the tax. And that's what government also wants to tell people, hey, bhai, don't spend on this. Okay, what can we do? Buy an Indian car. And the maximum an Indian car could actually cost with technology is 30 lakhs on road, which is like Mahindra's, the latest EV.
Right, sure.
And if you order it, you have to wait for 6 months to get it delivered. We are at the cusp. An Indian brand can now. Why can't an Indian brand have a luxury sedan? Why can't an Indian brand?
Why? Why do you think?
We think Indians don't buy, but that's a myth. I think it's a myth. When an Indian buys a Mercedes-Benz or BMW, and Americans, in terms of other countries' cost, we are buying 2 Mercedes-Benz and 2 BMW.
Yeah.
That's the tax.
Right.
So Indians have that capacity. Somehow for a very long time, I feel the Indian manufacturers or Indian entrepreneurs thought India is a third world country. India is a huge country to have multiple countries inside.
Yeah,
that's
there's
the
the first world in India, there's the second world and the
1,
third
2,
world.
3, 4, 5, 6, all worlds in India.
Sure.
So I think it is a time. 21st century is India's time. So Prime Minister says it's Asia's time. I'm even more.
No, he means India. He's just saying Asia to sort of get people together. Yeah.
Yeah, but right. I'm doubling down on saying it is India's time. 21st century is India's. Look at the biggest companies in the world headed by Indians.
Sure.
Look at the most innovative companies still headed by Indian. The Teslas, the automated car, right? The vice president is Indian. So from there, look at everywhere. It's Indians dominating everywhere. Or even in a country, a company that's not headed by Indian, the people who are working are going to be from India. So we have this potential. 140 crores is our biggest strength. I think it just needs a tweaking to say, Arey bhai, don't think of creating a product for Indians. Create a product for the world. Indians will buy it. So I think that's the tweak we should start making. I think Mahindra has gone the right step. Tata Avinya is coming down. That's one thing that I was researching on. So I'm just saying about cars. Indian manufacturers are gearing up. And
very interesting.
I think this should be applied across because we can do it. We can pull down high-end Chinese, ammunitions. We can pull down Turkish ammunitions. We can do this within India completely.
Yeah.
And then we can do this anywhere.
Yeah, well, it's a very solid point. I often wonder about what it'll take to move India up the ladder, right? And I have 2 or 3 large points. Tell me what you think about them. First of all, I think you're super right. If without a competitive force, the DRDO as a public institute can create these indigenous surface-to-air missile blockers or whatever, then with competition, with like a bunch of people working on this, we can probably produce exceptional technology. Yeah. We have the intellectual capacity to do it. The knowledge processes exist within this nation, within these people. Right. Secondly, I think there's 3 places at which India completely falters. One is bureaucratic red taping. It is such a large discouraging aspect to build something in India because bro, I don't know how many industrialists you know. This city is all industrialists. All my friends manufacture everything from PVC pipes to ball bearings to brake pads and all this stuff, right? So I know how the manufacturing process happens. One of the largest issues is I am never sure who I have to pay a bribe to and by how much and who is going to be my enemy and what they're going to try and do.
Actually, that's the real cancer for country.
And it's not an individual public servants' fault. It's the way the system's organized. If you ever have an honest conversation, and I'm privy to a lot of honest conversations with some very brilliant public servants, they'll tell you how the system arm twists you. Somebody told me this, and this is very interesting. They said, okay, suppose I want to keep my unit clean. And I say, Madan wants money and therefore he wants this posting. I will not give it to Madan, I will give it to Himanshu. And when Himanshu is going to go there, he's going to do systems anyway, he's going to be corrupt anyway. So I might as well send Madan and not create more, enmities between the lines. And so there is a way in which, this is a small trivial example, this is a way in which the system arm twists you to create this effect. Number 2 is law and order. And I feel like until you can deliver justice on genuine complaints of citizens and institutions, how will you do anything? Bro, if I have to go to court and wait 7 years, then going to court is the punishment, na?
Yeah.
So first you oppress me and you violate my rights. Then I go to the court and then I wait 7 years and stay with that trauma for 7 years until any vague assessment of justice is provided to me. Ki bhaiya, aapke saath galat hua. Wo bhi shayad na de. Then how am I going? And the third is this education system mystery, bro. You see, what is the good thing going for us is our TFR is not falling. We will have more babies. Our population is expanding. Everywhere in the West, TFR falling. They will all be replaced.
I'm coming from a state where it is a problem. Like
TFR is a problem in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, our chief minister literally told the media that make more babies.
Really?
Andhra CM says the same. Chandrababu Naidu sir, he also said make more babies. South population is falling crazily. It's a big problem for us.
Why do you think is that the case?
I mean, we implemented the family planning properly. It was a very strict thing in South.
This is the one that Indira Gandhi, the vasectomy thing.
Yeah.
And so
not really vasectomy, but it's also proper education. People just stop making babies.
So now what is the average baby count per family? 1?
It's actually not increasing. That's for sure. I have to check the proper data. But then it's
Check TFR for Tamil Nadu.
Yeah,
TFR
it's falling. It's failing crazily. And it's a big problem for us because now it is coming to delimitation, where we are talking about population being represented directly by number of
people
MPs.
Right.
And that's working bad for us.
Can you explain this point in detail so that audiences understand? 1.4 is the TFR. And what is India's average TFR? 2.1. So it's almost a 30% decline. 50%.
It's bad for us.
Yeah, wow.
It's very bad for us.
And average babies per household in Tamil Nadu?
Compare it to a state in North.
Compare it to Madhya Pradesh. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's a big problem for us.
I actually want to talk to you about how different North and South and sort of the consumption patterns of North and South are, if you have any insight into that too.
Yeah.
But first I want to understand, because this demographic difference is also very interesting, huh?
It's 1.4.
1.4 babies per family in Tamil Nadu?
Per woman, yeah.
Per woman, huh? Okay. And then what about...
Which means, even by that number, people have only one child. So it's 1.4. It's not even 1.6 to consider people having two children.
Yeah, right.
It's
Sure.
one child.
For Madhya Pradesh, and it's 2.2.
Yeah, that makes, so it's the same 30% decrease, right? Yeah.
So we are not of advantage
So
here.
explain TFR replacement and demographic dividend and delimitation in the way that you were going to explain.
So what happens is, for a long time, when this was implemented first time in India, where people said, hey, stop having kids. And Indira Gandhi said that, every state was like, bro, then how will we be represented in the parliament? And then there was a rule that said, don't worry, your seats will not be affected. As in, number of people being represented will not be affected. In fact, it's a reward because you have the same people being representing your same district, like
same constituency.
Yeah, constituency. But the population increase or decrease, it won't affect, is the promise that was given. And then during Vajpayee's era, it was extended. As in, we will still not touch it. But now when there is conversation about touching that, as in realigning the country's constituencies to the number of people who live there, the South suddenly becomes of huge disadvantage because our representation in parliament will go down. There can be governments that is formed without the support of
any southern party.
Big, forget the parties. Same party can contest in South also.
Right.
But without representation from South, there can be governments that gets formed. Today, it's not possible.
Right.
You need some presence across India for someone to form a government. You need alliance, or you can be standing yourself. Earlier Congress used to do, now BJP is doing. You need that, which is good. But when this population is being counted in, and I understand the counter narrative. What they are saying is, but see, how can these many lakhs of people be represented by one person and few thousand also be represented by one person? Doesn't seem fair.
Right.
But then it is like you are being punished for doing something the government told you to do right.
50 years ago.
Yeah, for decades. And we are consistently, it's not like one 5-year plan. It's something we repeat for generations.
Right. So because I listened to you, now you'll punish me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I did my job well, now you'll punish me.
So that's something that, any party across, parties in South, alliance or non-alliance with BJP would not be happy about, because their representation gets affected.
Interesting. See, I don't think delimitation is a topic of discussion in the North at all. Like, we don't think about it.
Yeah. It's a problem of South.
Yeah. What else are problems of South that North Indians are not privy to?
I think this is very privy. One thing is language. I think language is the biggest conversation point.
Tell me about it. So I understand that the problem is not that I speak Hindi and you speak Tamil or you speak Telugu. Yeah. The problem is that there is somehow a subconscious imposition on you of my language. Yeah. How does that work?
Bro, let's look at 3-language policy. I don't know. I'm going to be being debated a lot on Twitter, I guess. But yeah, anyway, still going on. Yeah.
Guys, let's get truthful and controversial. With
but let's be, So the 3-language policy says you must learn 3 Indian languages. I mean, 1 English and your native language. The third is the Indian language. So for anyone in India, if you're going to say learn 3 languages, for me, for example, it will be English, primary language across the world. Second, Tamil, my mother tongue. Third would be Hindi.
Okay.
What people pro 3-language policy say is that, see, the third language could be anything. You can study Malayalam, you can study Punjabi, you can study Bhojpuri. We are not going to study that. We are going to study Hindi, right? Okay. Of course, it's how many Punjabi teachers you think you will find in Tamil Nadu?
I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
No. And it'd be a very interesting flavor, frankly.
People just, but it's not practical, So it's indirect imposition is something that people in Tamil Nadu feel.
So basically you're saying that...
So see, that's the knack there. They don't say study the third language. They say study the third Indian language. If you open it for third language, people would be happy to study French, German. I understand it's not Indian, but it has more probability of you going out and probably mixing with other cultures also. It's not like Hindi should not be studied. Hindi can be studied by people who want to study Hindi. No one stops that. Problem happens when you kind of say, hey bro, come on. I'm asking you this question. It should be universally applied, right? How many schools in North India do you see, or East India, West India, whichever India, other than Tamil Nadu only, or any state that is going to teach Tamil as third language?
So my experience from this in school is we were studying Hindi and English, and then they offered us French, Sanskrit, or German later on as one of the third languages, and I studied Sanskrit. Right. And I studied Sanskrit because nationalistic, whatever. Like I was like, I'm going to learn an Indian language. It's
closely related to Hindi also. It's easier.
Kind of.
Like for a Tamil to study, Sanskrit is very different.
It's a completely different universe.
But we are going to be evaluated on the same scale. When it comes to exams, your third language mark and my third language mark are going to be the same valuation pattern, right? But you're going to study a language that's very related to you. Probably Hindi came predominantly from Sanskrit, and I have to study the third language as Sanskrit is very different things.
So it's in school. Is there somewhere else also? Do you find this in official?
I'm not saying it's being forced to learn any language. See, I will also say this. If tomorrow there is a rule that says everyone in India should learn Tamil, Tamils will be the first bunch of people to say no. Don't force Tamil on anyone. I promise.
Because you understand how difficult Tamil is. You're like, please don't put someone else through this.
No, we know. So any language that is being forced on someone else, it's not democratic is what I personally feel, and that's what the majority of the state feels.
So you're saying the way it is forced is basically you have to do a third language and you have to do a third Indian language by mandate. You cannot do a third universal global language. It's a moot point because there isn't enough resource to learn a Punjabi and apply it anywhere, or a Gujarati and apply it anywhere as a Tamil person. And so we end up in Hindi.
Bro, like I'll sorry for interrupting you, but I'll add something. See, I'm in Delhi now,
right?
And I travel across the country these days because I have friends across the country and I have work across the country. I am learning Hindi because I need Hindi to have a conversation with the cab driver I just came in. I have to say bye, aao, main idhar hai, jao, all these things I have to learn. So this is out of necessity. And anyone so no Tamil is opposing or not, I'm just saying Tamil because I am representing Tamils. So I'm saying I'm learning this language because I have a need. That makes sense. If I'm going to be someone who's going to be in Madurai or Coimbatore or Kanyakumari for all my life, if I'm going to just work out of my home, which the world is moving towards to, why learn another language? Something I don't understand. Why force it in a way, subtly say learn an third Indian language? Why just say learn a third language, make it global? But why third Indian? So practically, even though it sounds good, tell me how many people are going to learn Assamese?
Yeah, right.
So put it bluntly, bro. Tell me how many people in other states, especially in the larger population holding states of India, learn Telugu as a third language, or Malayalam as a third language, Kannada as a third language, or Tamil as a third language. If you can pull this data,
What percentage of Indians speak Tamil or Kannada?
like as in the third language, which is like this is not your native language. So you chose Sanskrit, forget Sanskrit. Imagine you studying Tamil, or you studying Malayalam,
right,
or Telugu or Kannada, or Assamese.
Interesting.
Logically, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense.
Is it also because it touches on the north-south difference pretty heavily, like Hindi becomes that border? Do you think that's the case? Because see, I'll tell you what. De facto, I was forced to learn a third language.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
We all do.
Right? So we are all told, listen, ab tere ko padhna to padega. Like you have to choose a third language. The options were French, German bhi nahi tha, but French and Sanskrit. I was like, I'll learn an Indian language. That is where I'm coming from. So I'll learn Sanskrit. Okay? That's my thought process.
Yeah.
And so my question is, I am being forced to learn a third language and I have an option between French and Sanskrit and Indian and a foreign language. But in fact, I am having to learn a language I don't want. Now, if I gave you the option between French and German, would you mind it as much as if I gave you an option between Hindi and Gujarati? Is the problem that Hindi is the sort of... Because in effect, if you look at the geography of India, you come down south of Madhya Pradesh and you enter Telangana and Andhra, the language starts shifting there on. Until Madhya Pradesh, you're speaking in Hindi.
See, that's the thing. It was not the same before 100 years.
Okay.
What
Tell
were
me
people
more.
in Gujarat talking before 100 years? Not Hindi, they were talking only Gujarati.
Sure.
What were people in Uttar Pradesh talking? Predominantly Bhojpuri, I guess?
No, Uttar Pradesh, Avdhi, there's many
Yeah,
slangs.
so that's what they were talking. They were not talking Hindi. What
Well, Uttar
Punjab
Pradesh
before
probably is not the best example in that
Bihar?
case. Yeah, sure. Bihar,
I don't
okay.
know. Where do people speak Bhojpuri?
Bihar.
Bihar, okay.
Yeah.
And Uttar Pradesh has its own slangs, I know. There are different names to it. That's what people were speaking 1,000 years ago. Then now today everyone speaks Hindi.
But it's the same because if you think about however many Germanic tribes there were in Europe and then the Gaul tribes.
Yeah.
And so they're all speaking their own little language, but eventually it universalizes around English because we all have to interact. I think it's a phenomena that is a result of us becoming a global or a national entity.
Yeah.
Where I need to speak to you, you need to speak to me. And therefore one or two languages get picked in the center. So if you look at Africa, all of Africa either speaks English or French. They were never speaking English or French. Now it's a consequence of colonialism. I'm not fighting that. But it is because now that I have to deal with the rest of the world. Indians who move to Kenya will acquire the local language on top of English because they have to deal. So, look, I'm not trying to press any buttons on this debate. It's a very heated debate. I'm trying to
No,
understand.
it's actually not heated. It's very
Achha, no?
logical.
Okay.
I find it very simple.
Okay.
I don't understand the heat only in this.
Okay.
If you are not interested to learn a particular language, why force you to learn that language? That's my whole question.
I mean, I'm not particularly interested in learning Sanskrit or French. Why force it on me? But because that's the education mandate. I have to learn a third language.
So why is that an education mandate? That's the question. That's the whole question. Why should that be an education mandate?
If I were to remove that subject and insert advanced geometry, would you be fine with it?
Yeah, I think everyone would be fine with it.
And if I were to remove
And
that...
it's actually going to contribute more to your personal growth. Practically.
So you were saying that this is a relic of the education system. It's not supposed to be a north-south divide discussion. It's not supposed to be a linguistic discussion.
When a Tamil says or a Telugu says or Kannada, it's a big deal in Bangalore also. You can see it across the news. When a South Indian person says, don't force another language. It's a big deal in Maharashtra, bro. Forget all of South. It's middle, right? It's somewhere in the middle. Even Maharashtra, there was a huge issue. But sometimes it goes into stupidity also, where a Swiggy delivery boy was asked to speak in Marathi. I'm not endorsing that. I'm just talking about basic level of asking people to respect their mother tongue and don't force another language on us. I think when we say that, we are also talking about a Punjabi. We are also talking about a Kashmiri. We are also talking about an Assamese. We are talking also talking about the Seven Sisters, whichever language they speak. All we are saying is, don't force anyone to speak any language. What's the point of it? See, also in South, it becomes interesting because Tamil is a language. Tamil is also the culture. And there are Tamil gods. So that's like religion. So everything is Tamil. And when you say the Germanic tribe and all these things, there is a whole different evolution of the culture here. So let's respect that is all we ask. And we also want people to respect Gujarati. We want Gujaratis to be respected. We want every language. I'm pretty sure every person in this country has, if you go back few centuries, has a different mother tongue.
Sure.
I want all of that to be respected. And we want all of that to be respected. That's all.
I think it's a hard problem also to tie together all these different people and keep them together as a unit.
We are together. We have been together for 70, 80 years. What's going to happen?
Yeah, I think that might be because we are born in the 90s, you and I, right? That we just assume it was the case. I think what the founding fathers had to contest with was tying all these different identities together under the umbrella of India. And it was probably not the easiest thing.
And Hindi is not going to do the solution.
Yeah,
Hindi is not the solution.
I'm not saying Hindi
Bro, there is someone called Bharatiyar.
Okay.
Are you aware of him?
No.
You have to read his poems. Okay. He's a poet from Tamil Nadu. If you read it, you will be like, you love India. He is not talking about, just Tamil Nadu or anything. He is a freedom fighter. He is from Tamil Nadu and he is talking about India. And he's just one example. We have so many like that. We have, Marudu Pandiyar. We have Kattabomman. So these are local polycards who have been fighting for the country. They never knew Hindi. They knew their language.
Yeah, right.
And we are Indian. We are. If something is going to happen in borders of Rajasthan, the same anger happens to a Tamil guy. Hindi is not the solution to unite us. We are already united. I understand. See, it's not just Hindi. And no language can... And we are in the era of internet, bro.
Yeah, we are almost at the point where anything can be translated real time.
I'll tell you something. So probably experiment this. Change your geolocation to something other than, northern India. Move it to some south place.
Okay.
Because it happened to me. Open a random YouTube vlog in Hindi. It will be playing in English. It's happening now.
The auto dub feature.
Yeah, now
right.
I see this.
Right.
And we are in this era.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand the logic in...
I think there still is, and I'm very fond of this, right?
Yeah.
I love stereotypes. I don't think...
You love stereotypes?
I do, because first of all, it makes things fun. Right?
Yeah, in funny way, yeah.
Yeah, if the cameras are off and we are two different people, then we can joke about some of that difference, right? Bond over that difference, learn something new from there.
Yeah.
Two, it's funny how they shape up, because stereotypes will have some growing up when I was a chess player and I was competing with across the Indian circuit. And anytime you went to Chennai, you knew, boss, you're going to get the beating of your lifetime. Anytime I was playing chess with South Indian school kids, as a North Indian school kid, I was getting belted, bro. Like really belted. They were head and shoulders above us. If you look at...
Bro, I'll tell you something. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
But if you make someone wrestle from Haryana and Tamil Nadu, I'm pretty sure Haryana is going to just beat.
Precisely.
It's not about, the caste or culture or anything. It's just more practice.
It's more practice. It's probably more culture. In that, I think there was a more prominent chess culture in South India.
Yeah, that's just practice. People, schools, everyone starts playing chess early. So there are schools that specialize in creating chess grandmasters in Chennai.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
very little of this is in North, except Delhi had a few grandmasters.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you look at all the greats right now that are competing, I mean, Vidit is from Maharashtra, but Vishy sir, South Indian, Prag, South Indian, Arjun, South Indian, like all these guys. Gukesh, oh my God, Gukesh, South Indian, right? Yeah. All from that region. From the north, I think Nihal is probably North Indian. I think Ronak's probably North Indian. And yeah, I mean, Vidit is West. But even their coaches, Ramesh sir, Srinath, they're all from that region. And so stereotypes are fun because they give you like initial pointers to begin talking about. I don't take them that seriously.
Yeah.
But in that way, I do think cities also have a flavor to them. Like if you meet somebody from Mumbai, they're a lot different from somebody from Delhi.
Which I will never know.
Yeah, right. I can tell you. Us guys, we have nothing to do in life. Okay. We're free all the time. We're thinking of what our watches and our cars are going to look like.
Okay.
Bombay guys are much more driven about work. They're much more like...
Oh, bro. I'm afraid of people from Mumbai.
Yeah?
I'll be honest.
Why?
Bro, they are like mad. They're like...
Yes, I agree.
I've never seen that hustle anywhere. No, it's not like bitching. I don't understand their hustle.
Yeah, 1
I can
a.m.
never do
hustling.
that. Yeah. Bro, that's one city that is busy at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. and even busier in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. There is no other city like that.
That's exactly my explanation. And so these guys are much more sane because they're oriented to work. Delhi wants to start drinking at 7, 6.
I don't think that's a problem. As long as people don't trouble others, it's chill.
Yeah, but my point is there is a soul to cities, and therefore there's a difference to this sort of different people from different cities. There's an attitudinal shift. If you go to Chandigarh or a Ludhiana, there's going to be a difference. If you go to a Patna, there's going to be a difference. They're both funny in their different ways, and I think this is what we're bonding over also. That India is so different in all these ways. I'm sure South Indians have stereotypes about North Indians.
Yeah.
Do you find them to be? See, you laugh. Now I want to know. Now I want to know what you think about me.
That's wrong. So
No, bro, whatever. Let's have fun with it. Tell me, what are we giant savages to you guys? Like,
no, I mean we don't like that Hindi thing. That's like the biggest
the
predominant one core thing. There are others. I don't want to say on camera. I will probably tell it off camera.
So
I don't because I feel bad about it, man.
Yeah, I get it.
There when even some jokes are made about some cultures or some food practice or anything, even words, slang, everything, I feel bad because I am from that perspective that just says someone is in so way only because they are there. It's not you that decides predominantly how you should be. It's society.
Okay, let me jump off this. Let me ask you this. Who are your intellectual influences?
Intellectual influences.
Like who influences you? What are the books you've read?
What
are the people you follow?
First would be Steve Jobs.
Okay.
I love his biography by Walter Isaacson. Should definitely check it. And Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. Then it is Thiruvalluvar. He has a statue in Kanyakumari. It's a huge statue. He has written couplets, as in life messages in 2 lines. And there's hundreds of them. And it's so beautiful.
And it's written in Tamil?
Yeah. And this has been written before thousands of years. Very, very old.
How old is Thiruvalluvar? Man, this guy's spelling sucks. So, I mean...
No, you said it right.
I said it right, but this guy cannot spell queen.
THIRUVALLUVAR. Valluvar.
Yeah.
He's older than... because there is a Thiruvalluvar... Yeah, he's BC. He's before, before Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Wow.
So there is even a Thiruvalluvar year calculated in Tamil Nadu where like from his time, some years are calculated. So the next big influencer, would be Ambedkar. Man, the way he understood the country before 70 years, it's crazy. The way if you read his story, right, irrespective of whatever caste we are born into, the way he understands this country, it's crazy.
What is it so unique that he understood that's not obvious or was not obvious then?
Bro, the caste system. Imagine, he was not allowed to drink water in his school. Imagine a kid. Do you choose to be born to your parents? No. Am I having a choice in whom I'm being born to? No. We are born into a caste. Right?
Right. Our destiny must not be confined to it.
No, we don't choose our destiny, or even the way the society looks at you is because you're born to someone and someone in some particular caste is not okay at all.
Right.
It's okay when it is, when privileged people, when you're not discriminated, you're okay with it. But imagine people who are being discriminated based on it. That's definitely going to hit, right?
Right.
So the way he understood, he created, one thing that I really respect him for, he said, the only tool that can liberate someone of the caste shackles is education. It's education, nothing else. He was respected across the world for his education. So only thing that is going to overthrow this centuries of oppression is education. So study, know what is right, know what is wrong. Then you make your own decisions. So these people have had a huge, huge impact, man. And interestingly, I also like Rajinikanth. So sometimes when I go down, right, I go on, you should listen to his speeches in Tamil, bro, you will vibe.
Really?
He's a Marathi basically, right? And from Karnataka. He's a Marathi in Bangalore. Then he migrated to Chennai for job opportunity. He was a conductor. He was a bus conductor in Karnataka. And then he migrates to Chennai. And the way he speaks, bro, in Tamil, you'll literally get goosebumps. And I'm giving names that are universal to you and me and for everyone.
Give me some niche ones also.
Niche ones?
Yeah. Like I'm sure Periyar's up there.
Periyar is up there.
Yeah. Tell us about Periyar.
What exactly you want to know about Periyar? So bro, I think one thing I am very concerned is the last time I talked about Periyar, there are a lot of hate comments about Periyar.
Okay.
I never... So,
yeah, because I don't have context on Periyar too much. I've heard his name. I know he was involved in the anti-caste movement.
Yeah, so...
Right.
he was one of the predominant person to create whose ideologies based on Tamil Nadu's politics has been for the past 60 years, I guess.
Okay.
Ever since DMK, ADMK, both are Dravida Munnetra Kalagam and Anna Dravida Munnetra Kalagam are both based on his ideologies. And even today when Vijayana, he starts his party, Tamilaga Vetri Kadagam, so also he has Periyar next to him. So the fabric of
Tamil politics.
Tamil politics is to have an anti-caste way.
Okay.
So that's one thing I got it wrong at the start. I don't believe in caste system. So I always said there is no caste. But then you have to accept there is caste system so that you can help people who are being affected by it.
Yeah.
Because it exists. The whitewashing of saying no caste is the biggest mistake we could do.
Right.
You have to accept there is caste system. Then you can fix it.
Right.
Because it exists. It's not like something that does not exist.
Right. No, you're spot on about that. I would wish for it to not exist. And I have firsthand seen accounts of people not being allowed to step into houses, their shadow not falling here and there. Bro, like
bad.
I was a kid. The first time I was exposed to it, I was at a chess tournament. I'm eating food with one of my opponent team. So like we are 8-9 of us are sitting and eating food on the same table. One of the guys from the opponent team comes to me and he's talking about a guy, part of his team, his chess team, whispers in my ear. He's like, "You sure you want to eat with this guy?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's lower caste. And I'm an 11-year-old there. I'm like, "Bro, you're saying this about your guy. You were telling me an other from a different school."
And which city is this happening in?
It would reveal too much.
No,
I can't say. But North India. We were in North India.
I said, is it a city?
Yeah. This guy walks up to me and he's saying this about, and that was my first like on the face exposure as an agent, as an individual actor, not as my parents' son or like my friend's friend.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. So yeah, caste exists. And I think the one good thing that really happened in the last 10 years is that caste discourse really went down. If you look at a lot of the regional parties that exist, they do a lot of caste politics. It was replaced by Hindutva politics. We as a fold, we as a union, we as a people of this land. And to that degree, I'm well aligned. I think that is how we should treat ourselves, which is what we started with. We are the people of this land. That's where it begins. Kartikeya may not have a lot of temples up in the north, but we have a cultural reference for Kartikeya. And he's as much a deity to me as he is to you. We may not go to the same temples, but even if you look at how Krishna is seen in your specific niche and my specific niche is very different.
So in Tamil history, he is called Mayon. He is not even Krishna.
Right.
There is a, Tamil flashback. When you go back thousands of years, there are 5 predominant deities. And one is Mayon. And his representation is very dark. And, he's called, even Krishna in Tamil, we call him Karmega Kannan, means he's as dark as,
the dark-skinned one.
Yeah, the clouds that's about to rain, right? How dark it is. That's how Krishna's skin is.
I think if you look at the meaning of the word Shyam, which is another word, or Krishna, I think the dark-skinned one is part of it.
One thing I find it funny is when the serials come about Mahabharata, right? I see Krishna nowhere to be described. Even in Hindi, it's Shyam, right?
Right.
Why is he not Shyam?
Right. I know, I get it. That's a completely different sort of white skin fascination we have going for us.
Yeah.
But largely, you see that there is so many inter-sect variation of the same story within the fold of Hinduism that to make it a composite culturally is one thing, but to make it a composite politically is another thing. To say we are the same people politically is a slightly trickier endeavor because between your translation and my translation, enough of a difference has been created.
Bro, like even what you explained so far, right? I may not agree to everything, but I want to respect and listen to what you say so that's how discourse always happens.
Right.
At the same time, politically and ideologically, that's the whole point of me trying to explain this whole podcast. 140 crore people. Last election, I think we had more than 1,000 political parties standing. Can you check that? There are more than 1,000 political parties. Can you imagine 1,000 political parties? A US guy will never be able to understand this.
Right.
1,000 political parties contested for the last prime minister election. Not even chief minister, local prime minister election. There were more than 1,000 parties. 6 major religions and infinite number of castes. Infinite number of slangs, major languages, multiple of them. How can 2 people be the same? How can we both agree on one ideology or one vision for the world? Majority of us are not politically divided. If you go back to your home, your mom is not as politically inclined as you would be. Because for her life, the view she has about life would be very different from what happens on Twitter. A lot of times the problem happens when people think Twitter is the world. Twitter is Twitter is a bunch of opinionated individuals put together under a mask.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I get
So
it.
that's not world. You know, India is a huge country and we are all opinionated and we should all respect each other's opinion as long as it does not interfere with others' freedom. That's my whole idea for India.
Right.
You can't put the whole country into the same ideology. You can't put the same whole country, 140 crore people into one particular tag other than Indian. See, Indian geographically, you can't put together. When it comes to another country, so recently, I think one thing Operation Sindoor did is it united all of us. I'm still Tamil. Am I negotiating on any of the things I believe? Even if you listen to this whole podcast, when you go back and listen, right? I'm still strong about my opinions. You are still very clear about your opinions. We are not changing that. But when it comes to a third party, like a Pakistan or Bangladesh or China, we are going to stand
together.
brothers. We are brothers.
Yes, right.
We are brothers. We are family.
Yep.
But that's different thing. But when it comes to our house, we are going to be different individuals and we have to respect.
Sure.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. No, that
The
part,
problems happen in social media when you expect 140 crore people to be of your ideology. No, you're not. They're not going to be. It's just not possible, bro.
Yeah.
So one thing I really love about today's politicians, not these internet messiahs. I'm talking about politicians. Every politician understands this. That's why there are alliances.
oh, yeah.
Every politician understands this.
Yeah.
Every leader understands this.
Right.
They understand, but most of the time they're
This part, bro, to anybody who's done enough statistics
Yeah, yeah.
ever, anybody who sat through a class in statistics, anybody who sat through a class in political theory, they understand. Anybody who's seen how their friend group operates, by the way,
Yeah.
anybody who's seen how content operates, they understand that things will never be one. The creation of one allows for the creation of its negative in that very moment. If I say vegetarian food is good and I say it with a lot of fervor, in 3 months there is going to be enough need to speak and say, no, meat is good. Because that is just how this exists. And if you want to notice this very carefully, I use American discourse for this example. Veganism went crazy talking about its ethical superiority. And then came carnivore, which is only meat. It's so funny. It's the direct opposite. You saw America go through a wave of saying men and women are the same thing. It's just a construct. It's roles we play. It's not fixed in any amount of biology whatsoever. And it went on there with all its power, with all its energy. That became the discourse point between 2014 and 2021. And then comes Andrew Tate saying the only difference that matters in this world is the difference between men and women because they're absolutely different. They're not the same at all. Men come from Mars, women come from Venus. And because women are this way, men are this way, that causes all. So this is kind of how the world operates. There is never going to be symmetry in what we think all the time anyway. It's just largely impossible. The need for one creates the need for another. The presence of one creates the presence of another. Light creates the shadow. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole purpose of democracy is to tie us together despite that difference. Tie us together in a concept that is even superior to the minute differences we have. You know, somebody posted, this is kind of funny. They said the only way the world will be united would be if aliens attacked us.
Yeah.
Because it's a external threat bigger
it's
than
true.
our differences.
It's true.
It's true. It's funny, but it's true.
It's true.
Yes. That's the only way you can expect a Russia, a United States, a China, and an India to align and say, let's first
I'll tell you what will happen after that. So when assume there is an attack, not alien visiting, attack. After the dust settles, every country will fight to say, we are the one to
We
do
are the
that.
ones who did
The
it.
narrative will be
And
set.
bro, you can see this right now. Like while this was happening, I think I saw for a second even Dhruv Rathi coming out in support of Operation Sindoor. He said something. He's the same category as your type of creators, right? Like
What is your type of creators?
which is like, you know, news and more like daily.
Yeah.
And
You
like,
do that also, right?
No, I do only podcasting.
Bro, I do. I saw your videos in Operation Sindoor.
You probably saw that one.
Yeah. That was nice. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What part of it did you like?
I like the whole video, the whole vibe and everything. It was really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it was English, right? Predominantly. Yeah. That's why I understood it also. So it was nice.
Next time I need to impose some Hindi on you, brother. While you're listening to my videos only in Hindi. No, but you see, like my point is, you saw for a minute an Akash Banerjee, Abhi and Neem talk about the same thing in Unison. I'm giving an example. I saw an Anand Ranganathan and a Shashi Tharoor talk about the same thing if we had a brief moment of people just collecting around each other to fight for the common cause. I think one of the most applauded political speakers as of today is Shashi Tharoor. By the right wing. The right wing loves Shashi Tharoor right now. The right wing loves Asaduddin Owaisi right now. They love Umar Abdullah right now for some reason. And it's a 3-month long window before they go back to, hey, you are different from me, you think of different
No, as long as Pakistan is going to give us drones, we are going to be this way.
Yeah, right. So it's a funny thing how our loyalties and enmities are created, and therefore there is always a need within a polity to have a higher aspiration to align itself to the concept of India, the concept of what this land means.
Bro, that's the beauty of our country. That's unity in diversity. We are going to be different. That is not, all these data is pointing the same thing. We are different. We are very, very individualistic. We all have our opinions. Even in this right wing, left wing, all those wings, there are going to be extremists who are not going to be okay with the same wing, liberal person in that wing. There are going to be extremists in everything.
The right wing will break into too soon and the left wing will break into too soon. It always happens.
All
People
these
just don't
wings,
notice it.
right?
Yeah.
And still, our identity is one.
Yes.
And we still, when this identity is one, we all come together, we all stand together. No one is less Indian or no one is more Indian than the other one. That people should understand. Just because someone is going to voice for their right, just because someone is going to say something that's different from your opinion, it does not make them go against the country. It just means they are standing for what they believe in. So as long as it's not against the country, the overall fabric of the country, which is unity in diversity,
Right.
extremism in any form is wrong. In any wing.
On a more personal note, how do you define success for yourself and how do you define failure for yourself?
Bro, I found it very early on. So I started my channel and I have been this kid who always wanted to get into media but never got the opportunity. I used to try for every school audition and everything. I remember there was a Tamil talk show. I was one of the fillers, as in behind the scene. There are going to be prime people who are going to talk. I'm audience who are going to sit behind and clap. I remember one director asking me, bro, can you shift the seat because you don't look good? That was the whole idea. They wanted a girl to come and sit there. So you can imagine my inferiority complex and it's very bad, man. And I was happy when I got my 10th subscriber on my channel. That's success to me. 10 people whom I don't know want to watch me. I've been this guy who always wanted one person to clap for me and I have 10 subscribers. I don't know if they love me or hate me, but they watch me. They want to know what I post next. That was success to me. And everything beyond that has been God's gift. Yeah. So that's all.
So it's not a monetary goal. It's not a this level of success
Bro,
goal.
I'm pretty sure you have been going from A to B monetarily and B is higher today. Honestly, tell me, there were times when you just got money credited and you felt like, okay, fine.
It's always that way.
It's not a motivator. People who are motivated by money cannot be in this industry for long term.
Because
Then they will start thinking about the money and start creating content that will make them sold out. People will stop watching. People are very smart today. We are directly dependent on people and they're very smart. Your haters, your lovers, your people you are going to fight for you, people who are going to put you down the immediately you do something. They are very smart. Indians, especially with all this internet exposure, Jio, thanks to Ambani ji, everyone is super smart. Everyone judges. Everyone knows. There can be no one who fakes something and pretends to fake forever. People will know. When you do something for money, people will know. So when that is the whole core motivator, people will throw you away.
And is there, so you're saying in your worldview, there is no failure left anymore because you've already crossed the threshold of success and everything else is a bonus?
There is definitely failure. So after 6 years, after all this, there might be someone who still does not understand what I'm trying to say. See, when I say something, right, people want me to be in one particular jar. They will label this jar as left, right, center, whatever, or a party or a politician or something. I can't go and sit inside this. I am human and I evolve. Am I the same guy I was before 1 year? I'm not. I'm a different guy. Are my opinions about the world same after 1 year? No, it's not the same. Will it be same after 1 year? No, it won't be. It's going to evolve. It's going to evolve crazily.
Right. No, I agree. I think we deserve more permission
There are
to change our
people
point
who
of
will
views.
go from left to right to left, middle. Then people who become apolitical, who lose a belief in democracy, then come back to it. all will happen in a person's life. The
Right.
problem today is you think someone is something and then that is them for...
And then you
till
hold
they
them
die.
hostage to it.
It's not going to be that way.
Right.
And the Gen Zs understand this. If you really if you really look at Twitter, right, you will have different type of age groups that has different opinions. Predominantly what we talk will be resonating with people who are born after the 1990. People who are born before 1990 will have a very tough time to understand what even we are. This whole podcast, right? They'll be like, what the fuck are they talking? How can they see this, that? Why is he quiet? Why is he quiet? That's how we are. And it's a generational shift. And it's going to take years.
It's the same when I look at a reel that
accept
is done by somebody born after 2000s. I'm like, bro, what? But it's a cultural shift. It's a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
It's their language is different. Like when someone says sus, I'm like, you could just say suspicious and I'll be fine. Like, why do you need to leave out the pishes?
Yeah.
Right? And there's all these examples of like,
Bro, there is cap, there is no cap.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you
there's
see,
so much like this.
and this is the one that makes it to the internet.
Yeah.
If you go down into like forums and
yeah.
how like these tech nerds are talking about or gaming nerds are talking about, it's a completely different language. And it like, bro, if you're in a gaming lobby, if you're in a Valorant or a Fortnite lobby, as a 30-something, you're 30?
I'm 31.
Yeah, 31, right? As a 30-something, brother, you feel old as shit.
Yeah.
They're saying stuff that's, I didn't know this word meant this. Like you need to ask a translator. And this generational iteration's also gotten faster. It was maybe 10 years. 1990s was one generation and right? Now it's 5 years, bro. Somebody born in 2006 is non-representative of 2001.
Bro, you know what? We are not millennials. We are called zillennials. We are the lost generation. I think can you check the years for zillennials? So there is a generation called zillennials. Most people do not relate to this because someone born in 1980 and we cannot have the same mindset.
No.
You don't relate to them. We are the middle children of history.
We have no great wars to fight. He's quoting Brad Pitt.
But
from Fight Club.
we are. You know,
Our spiritual war
zillennials
is...
age.
Yeah, so we are mid-1990s.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Nah.
So that's
You're 94?
why I'm 93.
You're 93, I'm 96. Right,
Yeah. So, and from 97, I think it becomes Gen Z.
Okay.
So we don't relate to this and that, and we are the middle children actually.
Yeah.
And we are going to we can understand them. We can understand them, and we can choose like an amphibian to be this or this.
Right.
We can choose that.
Right.
When in Twitter we choose this.
Yeah.
In Instagram we choose this. Where we
Right,
go to
very
Gen Z.
interesting.
Yeah. There is
very
zillennials.
interesting. Ah.
Zillennials.
I have only ever related to the title 90s kids. You remember that? Like that whole era where 90s kids will relate to this and it's a Dairy Milk ad playing from back in the day.
I think that's the last generation to have uniformed media.
Yes.
You watch Shaktiman?
I was Shaktiman.
I watch Shaktiman.
Yeah.
You watch Tom and Jerry? I watch Tom and Jerry.
Yes.
Popeye.
Yeah.
So it's the same. But after us, right? After us, it's very personalized content.
We inherited the first wave of social media.
Yeah.
We saw Orkut and we saw MySpace and we saw Facebook in its early days. We played Farmville.
Yeah.
We played Zynga Poker.
Yeah.
Right? Like we are that generation.
Clash of Clans.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
FIFA.
And then
this whole thing. Yeah. First one to experience all this.
I remember-
Also experience an amusement park.
It's dead. Amusement park as an industry is no more.
It is there, but I don't know who goes there.
No,
But
yeah,
I
mean,
see this every time I cross. I think, who's going here? Who's going into amusement? Because as children, it used to be exciting for us where that's only source of amusement. You go see water. Today, there are 100 swimming pools in every major cities in India. Who's going to this?
Amusement parks are not what it used to be when we were kids.
Bro, casinos. Today, it's one app.
Exactly.
So, it's like people say, right? Killed the actual sexual drive is something that people debate on internet hot. So, when technology comes, there's always phenomenal shift in human evolution, but especially us as a generation, the zillennials have faced maximum evolution because we came from the non-tech era to the known tech era. The next generation Z are born in tech era.
Yes, they're born with screens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we inherited the first iPhone. I saw it. I remember. I was like, what is this? Doodle Jump? You remember Doodle Jump?
I know.
Yeah, Angry Birds?
Yeah.
And what is that running guy from Temple Run?
Temple Run.
Yeah, those were like, we inherited that. And before that, we also inherited...
I also remember playing this Nokia snake thing.
Yeah,
So,
or
no,
Contra.
Can't do both. Yeah, Contra.
And all those like...
WWF cards.
WWF cards, Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
We are that
And
generation.
Pokemon, this finding Pikachus and everything also in phone.
On
Did
the phone.
both.
Yes, we did both.
then.
Yep. We have a
Only
very
generation.
interesting window.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at parenting as a problem right now, because I think you and I are at the cusp over the next 5-7 years to be parents.
I am parent.
You're a parent?
I am parent. Thank you.
Son or daughter?
Daughter.
Can I ask for her name? Actually, don't answer that question. But like one of the biggest problems is screen. Is the way sugar used to be a problem to give to kids and sugar crashes would happen. Now parents are like, I'm sick of my kid constantly making noises, just give him a screen.
Yeah.
And the exposure from the screen is completely uncontained. It's unlike anything. A 1-year-old has memory of operating this. If you go to our parents, they can't operate the remote to an AC properly because it's so non-native to them.
Now they are the one using more WhatsApp and all these things than us.
My mom sends me more memes than I send her.
Bro, I remember a time in school, my mom used to tell me, bro, Madan, don't always look at the screen. Eat. Now I have to tell that to my mom. She's always on the phone. Anything she does, middle of the night you go see, she'll be using her phone, watching some serial. And see, this is one place.
This is where I lost credibility for parents.
This is one place where India unites. I'll tell you. Where my mom, can you imagine my mom born in Thoothukudi, watching Tuticorin? Are you even aware of this place?
No,
it's
not
a
Thoothukudi.
port city in Tamil Nadu. It's end of India.
Okay.
Ends of India.
It's
called Thoothukudi.
Thoothukudi.
In English, it's called Tuticorin.
I think I know Tuticorin.
Yeah, Tuticorin.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Bro, it has so much potential to become a big
How far is this from Mahabalipuram?
Very far.
Okay, very far.
Mahabalipuram is near Chennai.
Oh, Tuticorin?
Yeah.
Or Corin, something like that.
Corin.
Maybe it's also a bus stop, major bus stop. Because I've done some bus journeys across TN. And
You would have come to Tuticorin, but it's like it's very much near to Kanyakumari.
Oh, near
than
Kanyakumari.
anything. It's like
Okay.
ends of India.
Okay.
So she one time I watched her in Hotstar, right? Every time I see there is some Bengali serial always appearing on my feed. I'm like, who's watching this Bengali serial?
That's your mother?
No one knows Bengali in my family.
Right.
It's not even dubbed. So those times. And then I realized my mom watches one particular dubbed serial in Tamil in some channel. The original series is already played, done season 2, season 3. So in this first season, dubbed in Tamil, going only now. She wants to know what's happening after 3 years in this story. She watches a Bengali or a Gujarati or a Hindi serial in that way, without subtitles, without dubbing, to understand what's happening.
Damn, that's crazy.
So that's how you unite India. You improve the tech.
Hey, how's your relationship with your mother? What does she think about all this stuff that you do on the internet?
Bro, so my parents and I have a policy of never talking about what I do. It's very embarrassing to me.
Why?
Because I don't know, I'm this shy kid in my family. So I'm all extroverted. I do all crazy shit outside home. But inside home and inside known circle, as in with my family, my friends, I'm the silent one. I don't know, I'm that way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I think guys, I was talking about this on another podcast. I think guys, maybe women also, but guys have two personalities.
Yeah.
One in front of their fathers
Yeah.
and one in front of their friends.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm an extroverted, whatever.
Yeah.
That sort of fusion is happening for me because my father watches all the conversations. So he now understands my son is as crazy as I am. Right?
Yeah.
But
Bro, we all have our influences from parents.
yeah,
no
when I
matter
come
what
home,
we
I'm
say.
like,
Yeah.
I used to be like, I'm a so you never talk about your work with your parents, huh?
Predominantly, no. Because then you
Do they know
should
how
also
successful
talk
you are?
about controversies, which is not a comfortable thing to do.
Yeah.
I better
Middle
skip
class
both.
background?
In fact, it was, so when I was born, my family was poor. So my parents were also hustling. So we went to middle class when I was finishing my school and college. Then, we got
because then
comfortable.
the controversy is such a large mountain for your parents to deal with.
Bro,
If they
my
don't-
family, like I'm the first one to be on camera. Like in anyone I can go back. There is nothing we have in connection with media. There is zero. So
And
my
it's-
whole family view of me being on internet, someone else talking about me to them who has no idea of who I am in person. It's very new to them.
And it's so interesting that you are the guy who got ridiculed for the way you looked and created
Yeah.
insecurity, and now
Yeah.
you're on camera.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting wound then.
So in a way, I always am thankful to the internet policies in India more than anything that created me.
Yeah.
The geo wave.
I even think that
Created
wound
me.
created you, bro. I think our wounds become what fire us into.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
It's not what keeps us down always. It like I have a friend who's going through a very tough time and he's angry, man. He wants revenge and all those things. And I told him, listen, revenge is not just best served cold. Revenge has no value served immediately. Has no value. You've got to wait 10 years. You've got to let this revenge marinate the insides of you. You don't have to hate it. You don't have to hate your anger. You have to let it inspire every cell of you. And eventually it transmutes. The alchemy of life is beautiful in that way, that anger becomes joy and peace eventually. How? I don't know. It does become tears. You see it. You're angry and then you're sad. That happens. So there is alchemy there. But over a long period of time, it becomes meaning and it becomes purpose and it becomes joy and it becomes direction. So use it. And I am so grateful for my wounds. I know my wounds.
Tell me 2 things about your mom and dad.
Okay.
Not about something personal, not personal, just their character or something that they do. When you think of parents immediately. And let's see if they vibed together in the 1980s and 70s across the country. Because your parents and my parents grew up in a very different era.
Completely different.
And they are dealing with brats who suddenly want to be on camera and talk random shit and get them bad name.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm talking about, let's see if they resonate.
Okay.
So if you have to tell me something about something that you think is common between North Indian parents, or probably, are you from North India?
Yeah. I'm from Vrindavan.
Oh, the Krishna place.
Just like you're from Madurai, I'm from Vrindavan.
Bro, I want to visit Vrindavan.
If you're ever going, I will hook you up with all the protocol.
It's like a white marble temple there,
There is
right?
one white marble temple.
I want to visit that place.
Bro,
It looks so beautiful.
It's a wild place.
Yeah.
Vrindavan eats you up. The minute you enter and you have to drop your car off at the parking and now you are in the walking or the sort of rickshaw part of it. As soon as you get there, it swallows you. You become part of this huge wave of people going somewhere, looking for answers, looking for truth, looking for God, looking for whatever. And you become a seeker in that moment. It's instant, like it's beautiful like that. And one of the key markers is nobody is going to say, get out of my way. They're all going to say, Radhe Radhe. Because even asking you to get out of the way must be said through God. So there is that. And I mean, all places have their dark side.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. But the vibrancy of that place, oh my gosh, I get why my parents are from there. But your question is, what is common between North Indian parents in that way?
Yeah, like I
don't know what
thought
is
process
common.
or something like that.
Look, I mean...
I'll start. For starters, I'll set the tone. Right from I was born, my parents wanted me to be an engineer. It's very typical, like they stereotyped in 3 Idiots movie.
Yeah. No, for me, my parents wanted me to be a chartered accountant. My father specifically.
Is he a chartered accountant?
Both my parents.
Then
and they're
it
very
makes sense.
successful.
Okay.
But my mother grew up in Mumbai. Because my grandfather on my mother's side used to work at Air India. This is in the 70s. So my mother had a metropolitan upbringing.
Your grandfather used to work
on my mother's side.
Okay.
Used to work at Indian Airlines back in the day or Air India, whichever.
That's cool.
So she was like early had television and fridge.
So that's when Tata was owning Air India.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But my mother's first 10-15 years had a metropolitan upbringing. So my mother's a English speaking, very very progressive in her thought process. Very encourage my child to find his own wings kind of mother. My father grew up in Vrindavan, in a village. My grandfather and my father...
What's the village name?
Kosi. Kosi is the district. Piparwala is the village.
Piparwala.
It's a very small village. I've only been once. And I went to the house they used to own. Had no toilets. Very quintessential. Like, I don't know how 18 people grew up in that small house. My father escaped poverty with my grandfather.
Bro, my first house, like when I was born, the early house I was in did not have a toilet. We had a common bathroom in the whole...
This is the first
4 or
house
5 people.
I've ever had.
Yeah.
Where you're sitting right now, my first memories are from this house.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So like we kept this house. I made this my first office because my grandmother built this house. We are very sentimental people in that. Now, my father made a name for himself. My mother, by the time I was finishing school, was a judge already. So I came from...
Oh, so what?
Judge. My mom's a judge now.
Judge, magistrate.
Yeah. No, an IT. So income tax appellate tribunal judge.
Okay.
So very like...
Wow.
High up.
Yeah. Wow.
So I never mention her because she's public also, no? So I don't want any shade to go on to her.
It makes sense. And it makes sense why she's more the forward-thinking person.
Well, in all fairness, my father made sure she got her due in life. My father made sure he pushed her because my father saw the intelligence and the hard work.
No, that's due respect to your dad.
Yeah.
But your mom has seen more of the world.
In some way.
Yeah.
In some way.
My whole point is when you see more of the world, your ideology changes.
Exactly.
You see more of the world.
Exactly.
I have been to the most random places in India.
And it changes how you think.
It changes me completely.
Bro, I was in the Khasi Hills in Meghalaya and you can hear whistles. And you're like, what is this? And they're talking to each other across the mountains. You're like, what? This also happens? And this place is matriarchal? And then you go to, I don't know, a Pondicherry or an Auroville and you see people just like walking around. It's just a very different. So yeah, you are completely right.
Bro, I saw someone who does not know Rajnikant.
That's crazy. That person's not real. You talk to a robot, dude. You're talking to some like prehistoric AI there. How do you not know Rajnikant, bro?
That's like craziest
what
thing.
What the hell? How do you not know Rajnikant?
I'll tell you where. So this is Kainchi Dham, which is in... you've been there?
Uttarakhand. I haven't been.
I love that. That's my go-to place. Every year I go. So,
Neem Karoli Baba.
Yeah.
Bro, right up there, man. Neem Karoli Baba. Neem Karoli Baba actually visited my house.
What?
Before I was born, when my dad was younger. In Vrindavan.
Because I know Neem Karoli is somewhere around that space, right? The Karoli, the place.
Maybe.
He got this name from that place.
My grandfather, because he was a banker, had a lot of these people like Prabhupada ji from the ISKCON.
Okay.
You would bank with my grandfather. So we had Premanandji Maharaj and like, so my family.
I know Lahri in that order. I know because it's very near to Mahavatar Babaji caves also.
Acha, I don't know.
Kainchi Dham.
Acha.
So there it's Lahri Maharaj. And here it is Kainchi Dham Baba.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Neem Karoli Baba from the Ramdas link, which was one of his students who went out west and then spread his word.
I'll tell you how crazy I got to know about Neem Karoli Baba. This is the weirdest story you would have heard.
Tell me.
I'm reading biography of Steve Jobs. The first person I told you immediately, the biggest influencer for me is personally Steve Jobs.
Right.
I'm reading his biography. I've read multiple times.
Right.
And one time in COVID, much after Madan Gowri, the influencer, was born. I'm reading that because it's long time since I read it. I just wanted to kill time during COVID. And then it struck me that he came to Neem Karoli Baba's temple, Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, he literally came from other end of the world to this place. Did it change him? There is no proper answer to that in that book. But then he wandered the streets of, Neem Karoli Baba, Kainchi Dham. There is no street, there was only one road. But he roamed that road and he was there in that temple. So I Googled about it and it was very interesting to me. So I just want to know what this place holds. I'm curious. I want to know what this place holds. So I take a flight the next day. I tell my audience, for the first time I tell my audience, I might not post tomorrow. I don't know. There is no network there. I don't know how Himalayas. I know Srinagar. I know all this part of Manali. Tourism spots I know. Uttarakhand, not even Dehradun. Some random Uttarakhand, you go mountains. That's what Google showed me. I don't know if there is network. Yeah. So I might not, because I post every day. So I told my audience, I might not post tomorrow. For a week, I'm going to just explore. I want to do this for myself. And I took a flight. And I never thought India was so well connected by air that in 16 hours, I was in the temple from Madurai. So I enter this place and am I someone who believes in God? Yes. Am I someone who believes in a particular religion or anything? I think I'm beyond forcing myself into one constraint. I believe in God. I believe there is a power. That's who I am. So when I go to a temple, I think more of the kings who stood there than the God who's in front of me. That's how my brain is weird. So I go to this place and I want to know what Steve Jobs was doing here. And I see this place. It's so peaceful. And the first time when I went was during 2021, I guess. Virat Kohli still did not go there. So there was no crowd. Now it's all crowded. Next time it's crowded. So 2021, there is no crowd. It's just me. And I had the best... I actually found some purpose to what I was doing. As in, I was always afraid of losing what I had until that point. And I was there for 6 days. I was there alone, me, the empty mountains and that temple. I don't know, I just reinvented myself mentally to just keep doing what I do irrespective of the consequences. I somehow felt I'm just a tool. All that while I had this agankar, in Tamil, Tamil we say agankaram, I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
Ahankar.
Hindi, so you know that I had that.
We can high five to that. Right.
Bro, see, we are the same.
Yeah. Hence proved.
Yeah.
Right.
So in Tamil we call agankar. I always thought I came up, I did this. I have come from nothing.
Yeah, this is me. Yeah, right.
But that 6 days made me feel for the first time, I'm nothing. Just surrender. Surrender yourself to nature, God, whatever you call it, surrender yourself. And those 6 days were very meaningful to me. And I keep repeating every year. Every time I get ahankar, I go there. Every year, that's like an annual ritual to me. I go there.
I would highly recommend
completely.
Some of the finest stories ever told about Maharaj Ji,
Yeah.
about Neem Karoli Baba,
Yeah.
are told by his then afterwards very popular disciple Ramdas. Ramdas is Richard
The
Alpert.
white guy, right?
The white guy.
He came to India.
The white guy who ran LSD experiments at Harvard, got kicked out, came here with the LSD. Neem Karoli Baba apparently took all that LSD,
Yeah, yeah,
swallowed it, and nothing happened. And this guy's like, all the magic in the West, and this guy did 10 doses of it and nothing happens. What does he know? And then he submits to him. And he talks about all these magical things Neem Karoli Baba could do. I'm convinced of very few magical things. I'm convinced Neem Karoli Baba was magical. I'm convinced he was an avatar. Bro, I can go on and on about Ramdas specifically and his view of Maharaj Ji. And a lot of my friends who are global, because I spent a lot of the years, my formative years abroad, anytime I want them to come into and understand the beauty of my culture, one of the easiest access points is Ramdas. Because Ramdas brings you into the fold of Maharaj Ji, and once you are with Maharaj Ji, then you can access Hanuman, then you can access Ram, then you can access Osho, then you can access Krishnamurti, then you can access the entire corpus, Vivekanand and Paramhans, and all these people become accessible. Because Ramdas is their guy speaking their language, coming from a very Western academia standpoint, somebody who comes from research. Constantly his mind being blown by this one guy's magic. Constantly saying, how the hell does he know? Constantly. And he speaks in beauty. Ramdas speaks in beauty. You must listen to him. But I get it, man. I get it. On the point of how common our parents are, I think Indian parents are much similar across socioeconomic lines than geographical lines. Middle class parents are scared because they know what it means to have nothing.
You know, my grandmother, she passed away before 3-4 years. And
I'm sorry about that.
yeah, you know, we have our best relationship with our grandparents. So she was the one who literally, you know, nurtured me when I was young. I still remember one of our last meetings, she gave me 100 rupees in my hand. See, I already had like 3 million, 4 million followers by then. I'm just saying
$3
that
million,
to...
$4 million in the bank by that time as well.
I'm just saying that to... say financially,
put it in context. Yeah, you're financially doing okay. Yeah.
Okay. So she gave me 100 rupees and she told me, Madan, find a job. So that's my family.
I get it, dude.
Never took it seriously. They still think this is...
My
this is
Dadaji
not
will
the
do this.
career.
Be like, yaar, tu IAS hi kar leta. Like, you should have just been an IAS. And I'm like, Dadaji, I think I'm doing fine at this point. Like,
Bro, like, are you in a relationship or something?
yeah,
Sorry for breaking.
No, I'm
much.
almost getting married in 6 months. It's public information.
So then I can break it. So it's a love marriage.
Yeah.
Then you know this. So my parents were searching for a bride. There is no column for influencer in matrimony sites. It's like we don't exist.
Anupam sir, what are you doing? I think we're the most demanded people in the market, right? Anupam sir will fix it. Anupam Mittal sir. Hey, if we ever have him on the podcast, remind me to ask him to do this. कि आप अभी डलवाओ sir phone करके. Because, I mean, what the hell? You should just say celebrity. Is there a celebrity public person, public media person?
I will be humble. I'll just call influencer.
No, own it. Don't hide from it.
No.
This is the South Indian humility I'm not fond of. Have some North Indian arrogance here. But hey, man, as always, you're welcome on the Prakhar Gupta Experience.
Thank you so much, bro. I love the whole show and also cool what you did with Twitter. Keep doing that more. I don't see that happen again and again. But I think we need strong voices in English. That's going to represent us to the
Whenever
world.
you think there is something that needs to be said, pass on the message.
Absolutely.
I have a knack with words and I have a good voice. And when I speak, some people tremble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never say that.